We got this from NJ.com. And I suppose I should pull up the Mediaite one because that's funny too. Trump loses another big-time podcaster. These people are as stupid as you could possibly imagine. What is this? Tim Pool. Oh my, here we go. Tim Pool backtracks on RFK Jr. endorsement, claims was only trolling after MAGA backlash. Oof, I really stepped in it.
What did you do?
You've never trolled
people
before.
Are so stupid. NJ.com. This guy, Matt Arco, saw the one tweet where I said, okay, I'm voting for RFK Jr. now. It's part of a series of tweets where I'm like, stop attacking moderates.
Yep.
Why are Trump supporters attacking? Why is Trump tweeting at Joe Rogan? I said, okay, fine. I'm voting for RFK Jr. now. And then RFK Jr. quote tweeted it saying, thank you, Tim. I appreciate your support for the Constitution. And then
that was hard to read. I'll be honest with you.
The second it was out.
Shout out
Burn the pot there.
Myron Gaines was like, I don't know what's worse, that you actually believe this tweet was real or that something about Shmuley, I don't know. But like, I actually felt really bad that he thought it was real. And so I was like, look, you're a good dude, but I'm not voting for you.
I was like, is Tim going to be guilt tripped now into going through with his endorsement?
Yeah, how bad do you feel, Tim?
And so then this guy wrote another story saying, what did he write? MAGA podcaster backpedals. Oof, I really stepped in it. There's like 8 tweets of me being like, you're driving people away. Stop attacking Joe Rogan. Stop attacking Kyle Rittenhouse. And then in response to like someone calling me a cuss or a slur or something, I said, okay, I'm voting for RFK Jr. now. And then I think the reality is 2 things. It's a slow news day. So they write about me because they got nothing else to write about. It's a boring day. And they know it's not true, but they want to say it anyway. Because anything that allows them to say, oh, Trump's losing support or whatever, it's how they manipulate this game. So actually, we have the tweets here, and I can show you the threads. And then there's I don't know if I have the other one pulled up on Rogan. Tim Pool backtracks on his endorsement. Oh, please. If they actually show the other tweets, but...
Oh, man.
RFK Jr. said, I'm so grateful to you, Tim, for your confidence in me, but most of all for your steadfast defense of the Constitution and relentless love for our country.
Oh.
I felt embarrassed for him.
Poor guy.
But I get it, because he's a nice guy. He's a nice guy.
And he's been on our show, too. I mean, like, you know.
I like him. He's not going to win. He should endorse Donald Trump, and Trump should give him a position on environmental toxins and health issues in government. The Hodge twins got it right away. They responded with a laughing emoji. Tons of other people were posting. They were
the people that wrote these articles knew too. They also knew.
I get people who will be like, "Oh, I love the show, but I just hate this thing Tim is tweeting," and I'll know that you just did it as a troll. Like, I don't think people know. I don't think people really understand how Twitter works in relationship with like the media ecosystem. They take everything very seriously, and I can understand that in the sense that like. It's a very stressful time. A lot of people are really concerned about the future, and they're looking to people with influence to, help them make sense of it. On the other hand, like, it's not just a series of press releases.
I'm from New York. Our language is literally sarcasm, so I don't know.
I saw someone say that Tim wasn't a serious person, then he tweeted that, correct, I am not a serious person. And I added to that, correct, I am not a serious person, says man that bought a 100-foot billboard to put his rooster on in Times Square.
To be fair, I know it's funny to say that, but we were advertising a show that was making money.
But still.
So this is important for people to understand. Chicken City, at its launch, we put a big campaign behind it, and it's a live stream of our chickens, and we were pulling about $20K a month.
Yeah, that part is no joke. But the fact that I was on a billboard with a rooster,
you were,
is
sounds
insane.
iconic.
So it is funny when I say I bought a billboard of my rooster. It's like, well, it was a legitimate business that was making money, and we thought we take some of that money and put it on a billboard. And then people ask me, well, why don't you keep making the same amount of money off Chicken City? And I was like, I really don't want to focus on growing my chicken live stream. It was fun. But maintaining that level of income requires a lot of work and promotion and marketing. It's fine if people want to hang out in Chicken City and watch the chickens, but it's not going to be a big staple for the business.
Do the chickens know you're saying this?
Well, Roberto Jr. has
I'd
been
rather
advertised.
a billboard of Chicken City than another billboard of the Kardashians any day. So
That's true. Well, RFK Jr. tweeted, I said, oof, I really stepped in it this time. Holy crap, I'm voting for Donald Trump. This isn't, WTF. He says, there's plenty of time to change your mind. You know where to find me. I'll be working to unite America. I do like RFK Jr.
Same.
And what Joe Rogan said about him being nice and avoiding attacks is about 95% true. Billboard Chris called him out for saying bad things about, I think, Moms for Liberty. And so the dude is far from perfect. He tried playing this high road attack on me when I criticized him for saying Indigenous Peoples Day. He's like, this is beneath you, Tim. And, you lose credibility when you say these things. And I'm like, oh, spare me, dude. And I was like, on the show, I said, and that's why I waited 45 minutes to bring it up, because it's not the principal issue. But come on, people care about American culture. That being said, he's a nice guy. And he sounds like a fun guy. Kind of weird, but that's okay. But he's not going to win. He should probably in October drop out of the race, endorse Donald Trump, and Donald Trump should give him a position in the administration.
His Fauci book is incredible. It's a horror book.
Oh, it's so
horrifying, but it's a really good book.
But that's the thing. Like, Rogan was the staunch advocate for exposing what was happening during those times. So it just boggles my mind that we're having conservatives attack him when he still is one of our biggest allies and just a common sense dude. So it makes no sense.
Do you think it's a compliance issue? There's like a faction of the MAGA movement that expects everyone to fall in line.
I think there's extreme ends to both parties, and when MAGA gets attacked, I think you see the really ugly side. And think about someone like a Vivek Ramaswamy, right? He says this all the time. We will lose if we keep focusing on the noise. At the end of the day, you don't win elections with having celebrities and the Joe Rogans of the world endorsing you anyway. You win elections by registering voters, by chasing ballots, by engaging in your community. So at the end of the day, this is all noise. And I think it's so heavily calculated. They want us to fall into these traps. They want to bait Donald Trump into saying or tweeting or posting on Truth Social some outrageous attack, right? So I think what Vivek always says is we need to focus on the vision, focus on the policies, because guess who's not focusing on policies over there? Miss Kamala Coconut Tree. So
Vivek's fantastic. He had this great thread. I saw it on Instagram. It was on X, but it was also on Instagram, where he's talking about, I think he was talking about like Tampon Tim stuff and these weird names. And he's like, he was basically saying this is stupid.
Right.
Now is the time to go at issues instead of trying to play these silly games. I completely agree with him, though he articulated it way better than I ever could. And it was like three slides long or whatever. And I think he gets it. And
totally,
Trump did this press conference the other day where he was like, Kamala's not smart enough to do a conference. She won't do a conference. Seemed like he was trying to goad her into doing a conference, challenging her. She ended up answering a couple questions and then walking away. Trump knows that if she goes on TV for an extended period of time, it's going to hurt her really bad. That's what he wants. But I got to tell you, he's going to the front gates and banging on the door. That's not how you get the job done. And the diehard Trump supporters who are like, if Kyle Rittenhouse says a bad word of Trump, we are going to go at him and destroy him. If Joe Rogan, we're going to insult him and call him stupid. And none of these things are effective strategies.
It's become the MAGA Olympics, and it's a demoralization campaign to people who tune into it, because they become struggle sessions. And I get it. We want to win, and we want to change the country, make it better, but pushing people away.
And the Krasnosteins and other liberals jump on this in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And it's not just the goof tweet of me endorsing RFK Jr., it's the attack on Trump supporters and Joe Rogan. They're loving it. They're going to go to every moderate who's not really political and say, do you see how Trump is attacking Joe Rogan? Why would you do that to the largest podcaster in the world, the most successful, famous normie guy who is telling the truth about all of these things? It gives Trump. He calls out the lies.
Sense. And the thing is, Democrats are a very negative party in terms of messaging, just in my observation, right? They're pretty good about keeping their infighting behind closed doors. It doesn't always work, but for the most part, they're pretty good about demanding compliance. Everyone votes the same way, whatever, when you get to Congress. The best part of Trump's campaign to me, especially in sort of late 2023 and through the beginning of this year, was how positive it was in contrast to how negative Joe Biden's campaign was. Joe Biden is doom and gloom. Joe Biden is always referencing Charlottesville, which got debunked. He's always talking about how divided we are. He's always warning of political violence. Harris has basically picked up the same rhetoric that he's the bad guy and I'm the good guy and here's what's going to happen. But when you would see Trump speak, he would talk about, things are tough right now, but they're going to get better and things are turning around. And I think that is something Democrats cannot leverage. And to just become this party that fights within itself is a waste of time. Like, we're less than 90 days before the election. If you can give the American people hope, I think you're in a much better position. It's also much more natural messaging. Let the Democrats be negative. Let the Republicans do something else.
Loves to exploit suffering.
Yeah.
All the time. That's all Biden did. His whole career has been
fear.
Right. Fear and suffering. With Trump, do you think there's any bit of him having a thin skin and knowing that Rogan has said, I don't want him on my show, that he's kind of waiting? Because it's like when he says fake news, I think he also wants to be loved by those people.
Of course.
He still wants the big networks to love him.
We know Trump. I think he has an ego. I think he as much as he loves engaging with people, and he's a great person. He's the same person you see on stage as he is behind closed doors, but he also wants to be loved also. And
I get it.
It's important to him.
Especially since he grew up kind of part of the mainstream media, right? Like he owned the Miss America pageant. At
Reality
he was
star.
the media's darling. They loved him. And that's another problem with what we're seeing, right? This complete switch. A month ago, this is the same media that was telling us Kamala Harris was so historically unpopular that Joe Biden was going to potentially need to replace her. And now look what we're seeing. The love for Kamala Harris could not be more inauthentic. It is not real.
So I want to jump to this. This is from Newsweek. It's a similar story. Conservative podcaster predicts Donald Trump headed for election loss. Because I tweeted, I think Trump is on track to lose right now. There are things that have to turn around. The pulling in of Kamala Harris has greatly benefited Democrats, and they've got shadow campaign plans, so we'll see what happens.
Thanks for watching this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to check out the live show Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. on this channel. Subscribe, and we'll see you all there.